I want to get cowboy boots, like work boots.
You play in cowboy boots ever? I've never played in cowboy boots.
I don't.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a band I play with regularly, the Cowpokes, and we have kind of a dress code where everyone has the same boots but me.
Yeah.
And they bought me a pair, but I don't want to get used to playing in high heels. Mm-hmm. And now I've tried the shoes on and they hurt my feet.
Yeah.
So I just don't wear them. And
it's like playing in high tops. You got to have some dexterity in the ankle, right?
Yeah. I've known a couple of guys that play barefoot.
Yeah.
And I've tried that, and
that's weird.
That's hard.
Even with socks, I can't do it. You got to have some sort of traction.
Some sort of a Chuck Taylor has been my modus operandi.
The best shoes I've ever played, and I never went back to them, wrestling shoes.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah. They were amazing when playing.
Well, I could see you wrestling too.
Yeah.
Pinning guys, whispering in their ear.
From behind. They were...
This is the Rich Redmond Show.
What's up, folks? Yep, it is that time. It's time for another exciting episode of the Rich Redmond Show. We talk about all things like music, motivation, success, and today, yet another brave, daring drummer has made the trip to Spring Hill, Tennessee, my new home for the last 5 months. Jim McCarthy.
You're loving it, right?
Dude, I love it. It really is.
Have you been to the new Mexican restaurant?
El something.
El something.
El Mocajete.
It's in the old car dealership.
I haven't tried it yet. What do you think?
We had lunch there today, Courtney and I.
Was it good?
It was.
Is it kind of just like...
It tastes like Mexican food.
Well, that's good because we do have a lot of Mexican restaurants in Spring Hill.
And mattress stores.
Yeah.
And what are the other things they always talk about?
I just like that all the stuff. The Publix, my bank, the Walgreens, the cigar shop, everything is less than a half a mile.
That cigar shop is just
world class.
Beautiful. World class.
I was there last night.
Yeah. Don't mind me. I'm actually fixing the background while we were talking.
Don't worry about that. Yeah. So Jim, what has been happening with you since we talked an hour ago?
Oh, you want me to get deep?
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Need to make money and all that fun stuff.
Oh yeah, it is a sad part of life that is, money isn't everything, but we do need it, and it does make things a little easier.
Basic needs.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always being in that situation of trying to cover your basic needs, which is always fun.
But you're a hard worker. I don't know anyone that works. I don't know how you multitask and juggle the things that you do.
Insanity.
Yeah, you did good.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to have another great conversation today.
A maniacal edge.
Hey, this gentleman is a staple of the Nashville community. I mean, if there's a drum set, he's going to be playing it. I see him all the time. The last 28 years playing down on Lower Broadway. He plays with a variety. He's a world-class musician hailing from Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania. He's a graduate of the Berklee College of Music. He's called Nashville home since 1988. Currently playing drums for Emmylou Harris, Don McClean. But he's also worked for, let me put on my readers, these are just a few of the names, Raul Malo from the Mavericks, Rodney Crowell, Steve Cropper, Hank Williams III, Bombshell, Hal Ketchum, Shannon Lawson, Rosie Flores, Buddy Jewell, Mandy Barnett, Chuck Mead. I mean, this list goes on and on and on. We're talking about our friend, John McTighe III. What's up, buddy?
Rich, how are you?
Dude, I am so happy to have you sitting here because... all the years of knowing you, knowing of your work, seeing you play, we have never been able to have a conversation longer than, sounded great, man. I'll see you, just waving.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
No red door time? Nothing?
Yeah, I spent way too much time mixing business pleasure at a little watering hole called the Red Door, and I don't know if you have a watering hole, but I would never run into John there.
No.
Oh.
I used to run into Henry Go all the time there.
Who is... a bigwig at KHS Music now.
Yeah.
Running Sonar, really.
Sonar,
yeah.
Apex, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I love him. So, and you were, in addition to all this, you were a founding member of Brazil Billy.
That's right.
Now, is that band still happening or no?
It's still happening.
Okay, it's still happening.
Yeah, it's completely different than it used to be. Musically, before it was probably 85% Latin or Cuban grooves.
Yes.
With traditional country music, and now there's almost none of that.
So it was a mix of almost like Latin rockabilly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hence Brazil Billy. Yeah.
That's great, man.
Yeah. It was fun. Very cool.
Yeah. You know what? And a lot of the playing that you do downtown, I don't know, you might work some of the other rooms, but I always see you at Roberts. And Roberts is the one place when I go down there, that is like top of the list. It's my favorite place. And when tourists come to town, and let's face it, they're all coming, and they're like, where should I go? I was like, Roberts. You can get the crinkle fries and the fried bologna. You can get a Coors and a can, and the band kicks ass, and they're wearing their pearl snap shirts, and it's music from the 1950s. It's traditional. You're going to love it.
Yes. The quintessential traditional country music. Honky tonk.
Yeah.
Number one in the world.
It
Gotta
has to be.
Yes.
Right?
I've never
Yes.
gone there.
You haven't?
20 years of living here. I've never been there.
Jim, we're going to do a guys' night, and we're just going to go to Roberts.
Yeah.
Just on any weekday?
I mean, there's always a killer band.
Come down on Wednesday, late shift, 10 to 2.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll be there.
Nice.
That's your shift these days.
That's my shift
Yeah.
these days with the Cowpokes, traditional country music band. We started a thing on Tuesday nights that we've moved up to the East Side Bowl in East Nashville.
Yeah.
And that's worked out really well. But we've been doing Wednesday nights at Roberts for 6 or 7 years now.
Oh, wow.
It's fun. I think you'd dig it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I can't believe, it's because you kind of have an avoidance these days for
Downtown.
Lower Broad.
It can be a hassle parking and
Tourists.
tourists and, things can get kind of crazy.
Woo girls.
Yes.
Woo!
The pedal
Bachelorettes.
taverns,
That's right.
the cabs.
But the tips have gotten better.
You can make a living now.
You could, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, years ago, well, I don't know if I would ever want to play this much. I mean, I love my instrument, but it would probably be bordering on burnout. But, if you work that scene down there and you get the right rooms on the right days, there are guys that are making 6 figures playing down there.
That's true.
I mean, that's crazy.
That is. Yeah.
That's a lot of schlepping. That's a lot of Bon Jovi. It's a lot
What does that mean?
Hey, just, it's like Roberts is one of the few rooms where you're going to, and maybe Layla's, maybe Legends, where you're going to hear the traditional stuff, 50s, 60s, 70s country.
Right.
And everything else is going to be a bunch of guys with in-ear monitors and iPads and rolling kits, and they're playing very current stuff and a lot of just rock and roll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Bon Jovi's place, it's got that he's got that big stage, and it's like the sneeze guard and a big double bass kit, and just everyone's got in-ears, and they're just rocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're playing like all the Bon Jovi hits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're just top 40 stuff.
Journey.
Rock, classic rock stuff. And
We went down there on a Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
It was Monday or Tuesday. And my brother had come to town.
Yeah.
And my brother's a musician he's in Detroit. He's been there for the last 25, 30 years. But he's been playing keys since he's 7 years old. No, even earlier than that. But he basically, it was like a dog hanging out the window, enjoying the air.
I'll bet.
On a Monday, Tuesday afternoon. And I said, dude, and this is the afternoon shift.
Yeah.
You
There
could hear.
is no place on earth.
Right.
Like I think there's 60 clubs or something down there. It's a lot.
Yeah. There's nowhere like Nashville to be able to do
It is unique.
what people do to make money downtown.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like you could have Vegas. Vegas is known for, the gambling's not even the number one draw anymore. It's all the entertainment. It's a city of entertainment.
Yeah.
But Nashville definitely has a niche. I mean, it's a unique experience for sure.
For sure. Yeah. And Robert's Western World, I would say, definitely my favorite.
Totally.
For if you want to get, where the locals go.
Yeah.
John England and the Western Swingers. That's one of the best Western swing bands on the planet.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
We got to
Billy.
do it one of these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the scene like in 1988?
Well, I played down the first time in 93.
Yeah.
And it was with Gary Bennett from BR549.
Right.
Before BR549. And I'll put it this way. I went down there. I said yes to a weekend's worth of gigs. And I never went back till 95 because it was like the worst place you'd ever want to be. It was all pawn shops, sex shops, prostitutes, drug addicts.
You're kidding.
It was like Times Square in the 70s.
Yeah, and like there were no lights. There were no arc lights. They were either shot out or they just didn't work. And you could park right in front of the club, wherever you were playing.
Yeah.
And there was across the street where Rippy's is, there was a club called the Turf. And that was the worst place. That was like the kind of place where people actually got murdered in the club.
I'm sorry to
No
laugh,
shit.
but
Yes.
I mean, before the tornado of
Exactly.
what was
2010? No, that was the flood.
98.
Okay.
98.
Yeah.
And it was the tornado of 98 took out a lot of that stuff on the Wolfie's Rippy side. Remember Wolfie's?
Wolfie's was killer.
But there was like a little club next to Wolfie's,
Music City,
the Music City Lounge.
in between that and the Turf.
Yeah.
I have a brick from the Turf.
Was it thrown at you?
No, it was after the tornado hit the building.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember hearing about that tornado.
I used to play at Wolfie's with Buddy Spiker.
Yeah.
You had to play so soft.
Yeah. He liked it that way for sure.
So soft. It was a good challenge.
I remember seeing Dierks Bentley play there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so funny that that side of the street never seemed to have the cachet or the success as the side with Tootsie's
You're exactly right.
and all that.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Strange.
What's the deal with that? No.
I have no idea, but that is so true.
And Kid Rock's was a place called Shawnee,
yeah.
and somebody got shot in the face outside that club.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I remember that club. I played there a couple times with a blues band. And then after that, it became like cowboy. It was like a cowboy dress and drag
Wow.
kind of theater.
Yeah.
That didn't go over very well.
Oh, wow.
That ended quickly.
Yeah.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah. And then it is what it is now.
Yeah, man.
And all the
Yeah.
shootings have moved up to Opry Mills. No, that was not what I wanted. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Nice, Jim.
That joke. Thank you. Completely ruined it. Should I do a take two? No.
Well, and there was Virginia's Market there across from the old Omni in Midtown.
Murder Mart.
The Murder Mart.
Yes.
And so
There's a theme
Man.
going on in this
that
episode.
people were shot in front of that place.
Yeah. How about the Kroger, East Side, the Murder Kroger?
The Murder Kroger.
There's T-shirts you can still find that have that.
Now, what street is that on Gallatin Road?
It's on Gallatin Road, and it's the first Kroger you would pass on the way out of town towards Madison.
Yes.
That was considered the Murder Kroger because somebody was murdered in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This is dark.
No kidding.
Things got
We need to-
really dark.
That's right.
But now, so Nashville is a little bit more new and shiny now. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I got to wonder if you compared the numbers from then and now, are they still the same,
Murder-wise?
murder-wise?
I don't know.
Well, we're not Memphis, and that's
We're not Memphis.
that's good.
We're Opry Mills.
Yeah. Let's pepper things with kid. Yeah. So you're one of the rare guys that graduates from Berklee. But when do you start playing music? Do you have a musical family? Because you are the third in a lineage.
Which means
I
you're
am.
rich.
Yeah.
I come from money, Jim.
That's right.
I want you to know that.
John McTighe the third. Now you're,
Not
a
much
joke.
money, but it's money.
are you a good Irishman, right? Yeah.
I am.
McTighe, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
English and Irish. My mom
I can
was
see that.
full blood English.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dad Irish.
Yeah.
His father I never met, but apparently he was a cement mason and also a boxer.
Wow. Tough guy.
Yeah, and he was a smaller guy. And my dad was my size, larger, and my dad was a cement mason most of his life.
Wow. Yeah, most drummers are hugging the earth. What is it like up there? I mean, you get to see if people are losing their hair. There's all sorts of things you can check out.
You know, concerts, better positions.
Yeah.
You can see, more people, better air.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
How tall are you?
More expensive clothes, though.
You got
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
6'4".
more fabric,
yeah.
more fabric.
Yeah.
And you like the dress. What I do like, I like the fact that you put lots of thought into what you wear, which is very nice.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
never tell me that.
It's part of it. Well, you're on a Carhartt kick now, which is great, man.
You're so full of it.
No, I think it's great.
Rich is like, whenever I get, if he doesn't like what I'm wearing, he goes, "Is that a new shirt?" Like, no, you don't like it.
Their hoodies are big and athleisure. They're very you just sink into them when you're watching TV. It's nice.
I'm more of the Steve Jobs. Okay, just simple. I don't want to think about it. Just put it on and go.
Yeah. But no, you actually look very well constructed today. You got the dark denim with the black boots, and yeah, man.
I know, the very stylish shoes.
Yeah.
Comfy.
Nice.
I want to get cowboy boots, like work boots.
You played in cowboy boots ever? I've never played in cowboy boots.
I don't.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a band I play with regularly, the Cowpokes, and we have kind of a dress code where everyone has the same boots but me.
Yeah.
And they bought me a pair, but I don't want to get used to playing in high heels. Mm-hmm. And now I've tried the shoes on and they hurt my feet.
Yeah.
So I just don't wear them. And
it's like playing in high tops. You got to have some dexterity in the ankle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've known a couple of guys that play barefoot.
Yeah.
And I've tried that, and
that's weird.
That's hard.
Even with socks, I can't do it.
Yeah.
You got to have some sort of traction.
Some sort of a Chuck Taylor has been my modus operandi.
The best shoes I've ever played, and I never went back to them, wrestling shoes.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah. They were amazing when playing.
Well, I could see you wrestling too.
Yeah.
Pinning guys. Whispering in their ear.
From behind. They were gosh. You know who Neil Peart used to play in was dancing shoes.
Okay.
And he would tuck his pants. I guess he would wrap them or bungee them to his ankles so they wouldn't get caught on the
pedals.
Yeah.
But he says, because you're pretty much dancing and you wore dancing shoes.
Wow.
And Steve Gadd was a great tap dancer.
I heard that. I heard he studied tap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Troy Laketta is a good roofer. What?
No, I know.
He is.
No,
that came up.
Really?
Yeah. He does roofing.
Doesn't he live in Murfreesboro? He used to or something?
Yeah. Troy's always moving around. Where is he living now?
I love those odd stories though that come in these. That came out of that episode with him, and I was like, "What, dude? You guys should get up on roofs and everything." I'm like,
that's hard work.
Tesla. It is hard work.
I think he's got crews of people now. He's just bossing them around. Hey, I want this done by 5.
Oh yeah.
Hey, slacker.
What is and that kind of brings up that kind of a notion. Even though you spent a majority of your life playing, what was something else that you might have done that you were like, okay, this could be something if the drumming didn't work out?
That I would have been interested in?
Yeah.
I've had some day jobs years ago, and one of them was making vinyl tilt-in windows.
Oh, wow.
And I found that interesting.
Huh.
Yeah.
Manufacturing them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is that you're known as a, roots country Americana drummer, mostly. But you studied 20th century composition.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting. Because I love that too. I mean, I'm an overeducated rock drummer. I have my master's in percussion and music education. But I love Varese and I love Stravinsky and I love forward thinking avant-garde music.
Yeah,
you would never be able to tell from the gigs that we get called that we like this stuff.
That's true.
But it's in there. It's baked into the cake. It's part of the root.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
What did you have to do to get that degree? Did you have to create compositions?
Yes.
Yes.
We had to do fugues, motets, choral arrangements, string quartets.
Yeah.
A symphony piece, a piece for a symphony orchestra.
Scoring for a symphony. Wow.
Yeah.
Big job. Did you get to hear it performed?
Not that piece.
Man.
Some of the other ones I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's still time. I mean, that would be really cool.
Yeah. If I could find a symphony to hire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Prague. They're cheaper.
You know what? When I first came to Nashville, I had a friend that knew some people at the Nashville Symphony, and they were doing local composers' pieces. And he approached me about having my piece played, and I was like totally into it, and I started writing out parts. And it took me about a month to finish all the parts. And in the meantime, the symphony went bankrupt completely.
Oh, wow.
This is before the Skirmahorn, that whole deal. And so when I approached him again, he was like, man, we're not doing that anymore. We're sticking to Beethoven, Mozart. We got to make money.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah. So
Dun, 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 dun.
that was a little discouraging at the time. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But that's so. Do you remember all of the, the ins and outs of the, the ranges of the instruments, the clarinets and all? It gets rusty if you don't use it.
It does.
It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody likes
sure.
a rusty clarinet.
The rusty trombone is
Rusty trombone.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one in San Francisco. Anyways, give me a good up. Damn, Jim, label those things.
Is that a good one?
Damn. We have one of Johnny at one time going, Shazam, my drum tech from the last 14 years.
I have that on another machine.
Yeah.
I might have it in here.
I have that Rodecaster in a box at my place, but since I come and you push all the buttons, it's great.
You want to sell it?
So what was the first job you got when you moved to town?
First music job.
First drumming job.
Let me see. It was probably with Gary Bennett.
Yeah.
Before BR5.
Yeah.
And it was on Broadway.
Now, explain to the listeners, so somebody's in Des Moines, Iowa, and they don't know the legacy of BR549.
Okay. BR549 was a band that started playing at Robert's Western World. And this would have been early 90s.
Yeah.
And young guys playing traditional country music and dressing like the traditional country music stars dressed back in the day. And they were doing this downtown Broadway in Nashville, which was the one place you would never want to ever be at that time. It was very dangerous. And I think that's what made it kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Because of the music and the way they looked, people of all ages, sizes, rich, poor, would go down to this weird little club to hear this crazy little band do this music that you couldn't find anymore.
Yeah. They created a scene.
They did. And those guys, as well as Greg Gehring, changed the face of downtown. That was the nucleus. That was what started it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, our engineer that has done all the Aldine records, Pete Coleman. I don't know if you ever worked with Pete Coleman over at Treasure Isle, but he was, he was the guy, he actually recorded My Sharona for the Knack.
Wow.
And, at the time, the Knack was playing around LA. This was probably 80, 81, 6 nights a week. They were so sharp and they were so tight, and all the celebrities and the hipsters and Hollywood would go see them. And it was a scene, man. Yeah. And that's what I kind of hearkened to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It was fun.
It's a really cool thing.
Yeah. It's exciting. One of a kind. It doesn't happen every day.
No, it's a hard thing, and you can't force something like that.
No, it just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't really create it. You just do your thing, and this evolved out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you're currently doing dates with Don McClean, Bye Bye Miss American Pie.
That's correct.
Wow. Long song, like 7 or 8 verses.
8 minutes and 21 seconds.
That was our bathroom song in radio.
I used to play in a band called, Frito Pie, and we would, and then it became Eskimo Pie. I was in college, and we would pass out freeze-dried Eskimo pies to all the drunks at the clubs, and we would do like songs by a lot of one-hit wonders. But I mean, this was kind of, I'm sure Don's got some other things, but he is known for that.
Known for that song. Yeah.
Iconic.
Standard.
Yeah.
That's so when I got in the radio when I was a jock, back in the day, we were transitioning from actually pulling CDs and stacking your hour to everything going automated. So at that point, we had 40-minute long sets of I-95 rock. You had entire time just to goof off. You didn't have to really fire anything off. But typically that song or Nights in White Satin
okay.
was the song.
Wow.
Yep. By the Moody Blues.
So he's got to be a
When you had to go number 2.
fun guy to work for, or
Yes, very interesting.
So Jerry Croon was playing with him.
Yeah.
And now for those folks that don't know, in 1998, I took a Nashville studio drumming workshop with Tommy Wells, God rest his soul, and Jerry Croon.
Wow.
And it was like a month-long course. I mean, we go like twice a week and we talk about tuning and playing house kits and the Nashville number system and scribbling out your own charts. And just, it was really fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to know Jerry Croon a little bit, and I haven't seen him much really since,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So how'd you get the call? Who's in the band? All that fun stuff.
Tony Migliorne was the band leader.
Yeah.
And I had played with Tony through Mandy Barnett.
Yeah.
And Brad Albin was the bass player. And I played with Brad regularly and had been playing with him for 21 years. And Brad would always say to me, like many times, he's like, man, if Jerry ever needs a sub, you would be perfect. And I was, of course, I was like, oh, man, let me know. That'd be great. And then Jerry needed a sub. But at the time, Brad was not playing anymore with Dawn. So Tony approached me and said, Brad always said you'd be great for this. I've worked with you with Mandy. And I went to one of their shows at the Ryman because I had never met Jerry. And I watched the show, and when they were finished, I went up to Jerry. I said, hey, I introduced myself. He's like, oh, yeah, you're Brad's friend. He's like, look, I've got some stuff coming up. I need a sub. And Brad said you'd be perfect. Would you be interested? And I said, sure.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it started.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And something tells me you guys play those delightful, on the square of a downtown theater, it seats 1,500 people kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of those.
I
Old
love that
theaters.
kind of touring because the bus pulls up right to the theater. You're on this beautiful little downtown square, and you could support the local economy. There's the indie record shop. There's the mom and pop coffee shop. I can go over here and get a martini, and it's all right there. It's all walking distance.
Yeah. You get to see these cool little towns and have more of an experience.
Yeah.
To take with you.
Because the sheds that we do, with Aldine are always 30 to 40 minutes outside the city limits. And, to do anything, you got to get a runner, and it's a whole thing, Not complaining, but that seems like it would be a delightful kind of touring.
Yeah. It's fun.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And so you have more dates coming up with him?
Yes, we do.
And one thing I really like about your playing, because when I try to research all my guests and kind of consume stuff they've played on, I looked you up on YouTube, and so there's videos of you out there. You play very controlled. Like, you let the mics do the work, and everything's just really, you got pop. When you play your crashes, it's like this little whipping motion. It's like, pah. It's just great. That's fun. It just makes me want to play like that sometimes instead of, up here, like, must destroy drum. It's just, you just got tons of dynamic control and a great feel. And
Well, thanks. You're very kind, man. I appreciate that.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very enjoyable. And let's look at this list here. And as I'm naming some of these people that I named before, the Rodney Crowells, the Steve Cropper, Hank Williams III. I did that job in 1999.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was what I do remember about this is Bo Cephas's son.
That's correct.
Yeah. Bo Cephas,
Where did that come from?
Monday Night Football. How did he get that name?
I do not know.
Yeah.
Because they actually, I think when Sammy joined Van Halen, and it was on the Live Without a Net VHS, their first live video, he calls him Alex Bocephus Mode Halen.
Huh.
Did you not? Did you ever catch that?
I didn't catch that, man.
Yeah. If we ever get Sammy on the show, I'll have to ask him that.
Dude, Sammy is he seems like a very approachable guy.
78 years old. Man.
Killing it.
Crazy.
Wow.
I know.
Isn't that right?
Well, he goes he was in Montrose.
Yeah.
That was Sammy, man.
Wow, I forgot
it's
about
just
that.
going way back.
What a voice.
Yeah, he's like a Paul Rogers, where it's like, God, Paul Rogers, you've been around forever. A David Coverdale, he was in Rainbow before
Right. Dio.
Whitesnake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, did you guys see that? I know you didn't go see them, but did you see Sammy when he came through here in the summer? I think it was in August.
No.
No? What a show.
Was Kenny
78?
subbing for him?
That was the second show that Kenny did. Maybe it was the first. Either way, Kenny had the sub with 24 hours notice
Yeah.
for a 2.5-hour show.
That's
Wow.
a lot. Well, he's the guy to do it. He thrives on that. He loves that kind of stuff. But I do remember Hank Williams III never wanting to rehearse. He's like, no, that's just going to mess us up.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it raw and real, baby.
Yeah. Never rehearsed.
Never rehearsed.
No, and he would record every show, and then we'd listen to it on the bus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, so when did you work with him? If I played with him in 99.
It would have been like 97, part of 98.
Oh, yeah. It seems like he was going through drummers. Me at that time.
It
Yeah.
seemed like, it's funny because he listened back to every single show.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You don't hear that too often.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, Aaron Rodgers, quarterback, he watches all his game tape
Game tapes.
Oh, really? Wow.
after every game.
Yeah.
That's how you get better.
It is good.
That's
but
true.
I
Yeah.
get sick of myself. Oh, my God. Do you ever get sick of yourself? You're like, that Phil again?
Yeah.
Damn,
Of course.
man.
Are there any original fills anymore?
But the ones that don't get you fired and are appropriate are there's only a couple of them.
You got to use the standards, man. It's get the
You can
butts
put
out
your
of the stands.
little slant on them. You can add a drag here or a flam there.
That's true.
But Dutch Duckadum is always going to work, right?
Yeah.
I've been actually employing the floor tom crash.
Okay.
Oh, the floor tom with a china is a nice color too.
Yeah.
Really?
Right.
Yeah.
What was it in the Huey thing where he?
Jim is in a Huey Lewis tribute band, and they're going to play the City Winery on May 28th.
We didn't
Nice.
do your the housekeeping.
Oh, we didn't do the housekeeping
We did
because
it towards the end.
yeah, we'll do it towards the end, sure.
But in Heart and Soul,
Yeah.
by Huey Lewis and the News, there's a breakdown in the middle of the song, and it's like it's got a hand clap going over, and it's like and he goes like that, into the mic. I hit the china on that. I'm hitting the cowbell and
I can't wait to see this, Jim, because I've never, Jim and I talk drums.
You've never
We
seen me
interview
play.
drummers. I've never seen him play in a musical setting.
Get ready to be disappointed.
Oh, Jim.
I got to be self-deprecating. Somebody has to.
Hey, it's fun. Humility is a good thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think if there's
Setting
any,
expectations.
any fun stories from working with the Rosie Flores. I mean, legend, Mandy.
I'm curious about the Raul.
yeah, oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Man.
Here's the thing is that I wasn't really familiar with the Mavericks up until recently. My in-laws have friends, and these people are diehard. I mean, they're borderline doing the Grateful Dead thing and following the band around.
Wow.
I never realized that existed, that people had such fervor, you know what I mean? And it's probably my naivete, but it is. Right? What are you laughing at?
Just because you've been calling me out on my SAT words I've been using, and that was really good, buddy.
I have to tell you, it's, So what was it like with him? I mean, he's a prolific artist,
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. He's great to work. Great musician.
Yeah.
Phenomenal bass player. I mean, he can play drums, keys, obviously guitar. And there's no better singer.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the best singers I've ever worked with in my life.
Yeah.
And just the music that he does, I've always leaned towards Latin
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
grooves and stuff. And I think he recognized that right away. So we did a lot of that stuff. My first gig with him was at the Skirmahorn, and it was with an 11-piece band. He had brought out a lot of the trumpet players and some of the players from the Mavericks, not the main core of the band, but like the horn players and percussionists. And so it was cool. It felt really good. And super guy, nice to work with, a lot of fun. And when we traveled, man, he knew like the best local restaurants in every city to hit. So, man, we got to check out some amazing places.
Just by his memory, or was he Googling them?
No, by memory.
Really?
Yeah, this is like before cell phones.
For Yelp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you worked with him before cell phones?
Yeah.
So I got my first cell phone in 99.
I started working with him in 06.
Wow.
I don't think we had cell phones.
That would be
In 1999, I had one of those Verizon flip phones.
the StarTAC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have had one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember the first time you were able to get your email on your phone?
Yeah.
I thought it was the coolest thing with my little BlackBerry.
Yep.
Do you
I had
remember pagers?
Oh, yeah.
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 Jim Morelli
remember all
had
the-
the pagers.
You remember all the
fanny
codes?
packs.
The codes used to, if you had Courtney and I were dating at that time, and she found it challenging to say I love you, but she was good with saying it through the pager, and it was done by saying 143.
Wow.
I love you.
Oh.
One letter, 4 letters, 3 letters.
Oh, yeah. Like the T9 texting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever see that documentary on the death of the BlackBerry?
Yes.
Pretty good.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
They had the world by the you know what, and then
Apple came along.
Steve
and
Jobs came and just
crushed them. But I think there were a lot of hijinks that went on too, right?
yeah.
A lot of corruption, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was, who was the company? It was, gosh.
I liked my BlackBerry because it was tactile.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I got the iPhone, I was like, "This is awkward."
Yeah.
Because there's not real buttons. Now the kids are like,
And you still miss the buttons,
yeah.
Yeah.
just, because they're virtual. But the Blackberries, I think you came, when you and I were beginning to be friends, you were in the production studio at the radio station. You had just got the Blackberry with the roll ball on it.
Yeah.
And you described it in a certain way.
I was like, this is not, yeah.
No, you liked it because it was akin. Yeah.
Got it. The man in the boat.
Right.
Yeah.
You were flicking the bean.
The man in the boat. Jeez.
I was like, that's really descriptive.
Hey, so you got something there. It's that you're gonna take us a trip down memory lane with your invention.
Yes.
Oh.
The webs.
Yeah, so we were both Johnny Rab artists in the early 2000s, and you created a product that would allow you to play brushes, but very loud.
Very loud. Yes. This is where you could do rim shots and crash cymbals.
Yeah.
This is one of the first brushes, I believe, with like a heavy wooden handle.
Yeah.
And it was great, like working on a snare drum, doing a groove like for train beats and shuffles. You could get more volume, out of the brush. And one thing, when I played with Brazil Billy, I would tune my snare like a timbali.
Oh yeah.
And when I played these brushes on that snare, it made you sound like you were an old recording while you played. Like it sounded like an old record while you were playing. The sound I was getting out of it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I think Johnny Rab thought was cool. He was playing next door at Layla's. He would come over on break, and he heard me playing, these songs with these brushes, and
More of a homemade version.
yeah. I started making them myself, with like milk cartons, piece of plastic,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Hey man, what are you using?" I said, "Well, I'm making my own brushes," and he wanted to get together, and I was doing like a certain type of technique. He's like, "Man, I want you to show me that technique," but we never did get together for that. But at one point, he's like, "Man, I'm putting together my own drumstick company, and I'd like to make your brush." And so over a few years, we ended up making that happen together.
It does take a little bit of while to bring these things to fruition.
Oh yeah.
So did it come to you one night? You woke up in a cold sweat, plastic brushes, giant wood handle.
No. What had happened was BR5 was playing Roberts, and Brazil Billy was warming up for them. And the owner of Roberts, Robert Moore, older gentleman, when we were playing, there would be nobody there yet. And so you had to play soft.
Yeah.
He wanted to hear country music, and that's what we were doing. And by the time BR5 was getting ready to play, the place would be packed, and brushes were not enough. You were lost. And so I was thinking, man, how can I make this happen? How can I make these louder? So I just started messing around with stuff at home and bringing it in and trying it. And it was like, wow, I can be heard.
Yeah.
And I remember Donnie Heron, the fiddle player, steel player for BR5, he would sub with us sometimes. And after a while, he's like, man, those brushes need to be heard. you need to mic that. So I started putting a mic on it. And, I think that's what attracted Johnny, because you could hear this sound.
Yeah.
It was distinctive.
Yeah, So with them not being, Johnny Rab went out of business, unfortunately. So with them not being manufactured anymore, do you have like a nice cachet of them where you got them still?
I have a few.
Yeah.
I don't have a huge supply.
Yeah.
You're talking about the rhythm saws?
No, the webs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you looking to kind of bring them back?
I would love to do that.
Because you went to ProMark after that for a little
I
bit.
did. ProMark approached me, said, "We love your brush. We don't want to make it. We want you to make it. We want to distribute it."
Yeah.
And so I did that for a few years, and then that kind of ended, and I haven't done it since. But I would like to do that again. I think it'd be fun.
What would be a good angle? Is there is this musical drumming auxiliary product distribution company, Big Bang Distribution. So they don't do a lot of manufacturing, but if you have a niche product like that, they'll distribute it. So they might be the guys to talk to.
I need a manufacturer.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Who do you like? Gosh, where do you begin with that?
Is it a China thing?
I think so.
China.
Well, then you got the tariffs to worry about.
Oh, gosh, that's right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Dang.
Well, I mean, is there a market for it, and was there any sort of proof of concept?
Did it sell well?
It was Johnny Rab's best-selling accessory product.
Look at that.
Really?
Nice.
And Greg could affirm that. Greg Lohman.
Yeah.
He was just in here. But anyhow, and I've seen videos of like Harry Stinson playing them with Marty Stewart, Johnny Barber. I don't know if you remember him.
Sounds familiar.
He played with Loretta Lynn, and I supplied him throughout his entire life. Rest in peace. But he loved them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a great thing, and I've got some somewhere because I always take, Lee Howard Stevens, the marimba player. He's always got these giant mallet bags, right, that you would hang on the bottom of the marimba. So I stick all of my Keltnerism type shaker brush hybrid things into this bag, and I always shows up at the session. And usually the stuff I get called for, it never gets unopened, but it's there.
Yeah.
If you need it, which is it's a great thing. They're awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think you could, the thing with manufacturing is the wood part being assembled somewhere, and then is the plastic coming, or is it, how does that, like, manufacturing it's so mysterious, you know? I learned a little bit about it from my gal because she's a fashion designer. And so she's always over in China and sourcing fabrics.
Oh, wow.
And then downtown Los Angeles has tons of factories, making, overpriced t-shirts right now.
You could probably find a place. Lewisburg seems to be turning into quite the manufacturing hub.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a company we use for a bunch of our products down there that they do fabricating aluminum, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But, for this, you'd need some sort of a plastic manufacturer with the wood combo. Do you have it here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Looks good.
You want to take it out of the bag and pass it around?
You could actually, I'm sure you could buy, like I used to buy the plastic separate.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a die cut made to punch out this plastic, but, you could buy your plastic at one place, get your wood from another place, and just have someone to put them together.
Yeah. Well, where'd you get them done last when Johnny was doing his thing? You said it was south of here, I guess, right?
Johnny had a company; they did them.
Yeah.
Right. Was he actually doing? He was doing his own manufacturing.
No, he had a guy in Toone, Tennessee, that owned a lumber yard.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where they got all the wood from. And they hired people to do the rhythm saws and put these things together. Yeah. They're hard to get out of this bag.
Yeah, man. It's worth the wait.
Need to get a case for him.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
It's funny upon just seeing it almost like a.
It's got a nice double stroke roll, Jim.
That's right.
Yeah, see, that's what happened. That's what he did with his youth. Practice his rudiments.
Zoom out.
Yeah.
But they're great, man. I mean, I have to say, even though I invented them. They did a good job at making these at Johnny's company, and they last a while. And it's something, kind of unique.
I think you put that on the to-do list to don't abandon that, because I think it's a really great thing. And, there's just so many fun little bells and whistles now. Everyone's attaching things to their drums and muffling their drums in so many different ways now,
Yeah.
It's so crazy just to try and, introduce a product into the marketplace, because you see a lot of them at the Music City Drum Show coming up in July.
That's right. Jim is going to be there on the Saturday, and I'm going to be there on the Sunday. We're going to have a little booth. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we're going to sell you stuff. Have you been to the drum show in the past?
I have.
No.
It's good. The one suggestion I have, and I've told the powers that be, Landon and JC, I just said, when you do the clinics, you got to have a moratorium on all the booth noise.
Yeah.
Because
I think they're going to do that this year.
Because if I was doing a clinic and all that was going on, I would have a really hard time.
It's a cacophony. It is
I can imagine.
Just like, and anyways, this part right here, come up, young man. I want to show you this thing. Like,
it's like,
oh my God.
it is pure white noise.
Yeah. Have you gotten into the clinic thing ever? Have done it? Or interest in it?
I haven't gotten into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, you should, because you have so much to share.
Oh,
so
wow.
much knowledge, so much experience.
I would be into talking about stuff and, showing.
Do you have such a nerd? Do you have endorsements?
Remember that time?
I do have a few. I don't have as many as guys like yourself.
Yeah.
But I've got like stick, drumhead.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
good.
those are the what do they call them? The expendables.
The consumables.
Consumables.
I would love to have drum and cymbal, and I've tried before years ago, but I don't really chase that.
Well, what drum manufacturer are you passionate about? Like a Ludwig or a...
I like Sonar.
Okay.
And I like Ludwig.
There you go.
I like old Ludwigs.
Yep.
But I like Sonar.
Mhm.
And I like Peisty cymbals.
Peisty.
There is something to Peisties, man.
Yeah.
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 Well, we know all the people. It's pretty easy. It's just to be an introduction. You're like, hey, this guy has been here since 1988, crushing it. You know what I mean? He's playing American Pie with Don McClean. Like, hello, because if you crack a cymbal and you don't have any support, it's $400, $500, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, if you can help a brother out.
Yeah, I mean, Ludwig is very. And Sonar is like Chris McHugh just signed up with Sonar. Matt Nolan, who's coming in from Lainey Wilson's band, is with Sonar right now.
Todd Zuckerman.
Near Z. They're having another gigantic resurgence. I mean, and their stuff is wow. I mean, I've had the S class, I've had the SQ2s, I've had the Delights, I've had the all the different series, and it's just such well made stuff.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah,
that one kit you had that was a red and black sparkle.
Yeah.
Gosh, that thing was a beast.
I know.
Yeah, those are tubs.
They were good, and the SQ2s. It was a 26-inch bass drum. It was supposed to go to Mickey D with Motorhead, and he's like, I know, he didn't like it, so they ended up giving it to me. It was 26 by 20.
That thing is how much did that weigh?
People were like compensating.
But I mean, it's a cannon.
I had a huge case made for it with all the lining, and you put it in there, and then to
hold your
tune
breath.
it had like stereo knobs, like you dial.
Really?
Yeah,
to tune it.
Very unique.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because they had little instead of drum keys.
Wow,
yeah, that's right.
And what happened? Do you still have that drum?
No, I stayed with Sonar for about a decade. And then when I moved over to DW, I kind of cleared house, and I kept one drum set, the S class kit that I recorded with Kiefer and Shauna on that "Are You Gonna Kiss Me or Not" song from 2011. I was like, wow, it was a little piece of country music history. Let's keep the kit,
right?
But
I thought you used the one you gave me on that. Was that not it?
Did I give you a Sonar kit?
No, it was the one for the Spasmatics.
Oh, that was a little mom and pop operation called DMR Custom Drums.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. They're good sounding drums.
Yeah, they are, dude. They really are. I think a lot of these companies are getting their wood from a lot of the same places. So it's really
like Keller shells and stuff.
It's just kind of what they do with the the number of plies and the wraps and
And you gotta. Does it make a difference?
you can take a Pearl, Vision or a entry level $600 drum set.
Make it sound like $1 million.
They sound great.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the kit? What's the house kit at Roberts?
Sonar.
That's a Sonar kit?
Really?
Look at that.
Yeah.
Of note, like a good one.
Yeah. It's the, is it the vintage series?
So it's a newer kit.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Because you remember, all of Lower Broadway would go through a phase where for a while, like all the clubs had Mapex, then they had Thai, and then they had, Pearl. And then now we're on is Sonar supplying drums for a lot of the clubs?
A lot of the places. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're really they're going on the offense,
They're going, man.
right?
And then, of course,
We're here to take back some market share.
there's a bunch of Roland kits and the corporate clubs.
You know, where the D drum kits back in the day when they made acoustic, they weren't bad. Have you tried the D drum kits? Remember?
I don't think they were good,
No.
but they weren't bad. Yeah,
They were good value.
they were definitely a good value.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but
Is it kind of like how PDP makes a good? It's a value priced kit, but it's like when you're buying a PDP, are you buying? What's the metaphor we can use here?
I think the thing with PDP is they're making them. I don't want to speak out of turn.
their production.
I think that they're more productive, and they might make them in Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only real
But
difference.
dude, I have a PDP kit with the wood hoops.
Mm-hmm.
So affordable, so sexy, and it's just got a gorgeous, warm sound. It'd be great for Americana singer-songwriter because it's got the wood hoops. It's just mellow. It's
You want to hear
nice.
something so like pathetic that I could never wrap my head around McTigue's drums. They make gorgeous drums. I think they were the first ones to kind of spearhead the bird's eye maple,
I like the Saturn series.
right?
Yeah, the Saturn.
And every kid I've played that McTigue's, I can't get right. The name just sounds so cheap. And I actually put that up on a Facebook, like one of the Nashville drummers. Somebody was talking about kits, and maybe I even put the post up. I said the same thing, and I got a lot of hate for it. But it was one of those things. But I just is it me? I guess
It resonates. Either the company and the product resonates with you, or it doesn't. But that was also one of the companies. So there was a Thai period, there was a Pearl period, there was a Mapex period, and now we're on this Sonar kick with all the clubs downtown.
Yeah. Even the East Side Bowl has 2 or 3 Sonar kits.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because Sonar is like the Mercedes. It's German.
Yeah, so
But
well made.
You kind of look at, DW is, I guess, a BMW,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Sonar kind of like, getting into that exotic level as far as price point. Tama and Pearl was like your Ford and Chevy
Wow.
for the longest time, right?
Jim was in car sales for a while there.
But
so.
that's how I put that equation on it because you have luxury to, baseline and stuff like that.
Sometimes the bass line is the workhorse. You know what I mean? If you notice, like sometimes when you play like budget kits or like the mid line, sometimes I prefer the sound of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of these guys, their marketing game is getting that brand logo. And DW did that in the 90s. I mean, they just crushed it and got their drums in everything. Is getting on television as much as they
Television,
could.
movies,
The whole 9
all the
yards.
award shows.
Because you remember when they first came out with drums, you were like, all right. That's you
and then
guys.
and then 40 something years later, you're rocking.
They're the
50
kings.
years later. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, they were a hardware company. They made the pedals.
Yeah.
That's what they were known for. And then they started making the drums, and it was one of those things where it was like, when I first saw them advertised in Modern Drummer, I was like, okay, it's like when Remo made drums.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were like,
I had those. Did you ever have any of those? The
No.
Acousticons.
yeah.
No, I remember seeing those. I never had any.
Well, what do you show up to the studio? Say you got a recording session. What do you take into the studio?
It's funny. Everyone has their own house kit. So I don't take
Show up with a
drum
couple of
kit
snare
anymore.
drums and
Yeah, I bring some snares and some percussion stuff and just use whatever they have because usually they have it tweaked in.
yeah.
But I have a Yamaha Cherrywood recording custom
Beautiful.
that I like to use a lot if I'm going to take a kit.
Yeah.
But it depends, like if it's something like if they want the music if it calls for vintage drums, I'll take something different like that. But yeah.
What rooms do you find yourself in a lot? Is there a couple of rooms where like you're on the call list a lot? You end up in these certain spaces?
No.
It's the luck of the draw.
Luck of the draw.
We're just waiting for this thing to light up.
You're just like free flowing through life in a way with that.
I guess.
I mean, you're not planning anything. Things just happen. That's a great way to live.
Blessed.
Yeah.
I would
Because
say
88, let's do the math. That's 35.
That's
You've been here 37 years.
Yeah.
I've been here 28 years. Happens fast. That's a lot of presidencies.
It is.
You know what? But,
Wow, I never thought of it.
But we're hashtag blessed. I mean, we are hashtag blessed.
I'm very thankful.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm kind of digging the conversation about the drum manufacturers, though.
Yeah.
Do you remember PV drums?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bobby Rock.
Bobby Rock. They had the suspension like that.
Yeah,
What
he
is
had the
that thing?
Sistine Chapel painted on his shells of his kit.
Yeah, but they had they were like reinforcement hoops around the edges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That were supposed to give the shell more reverberation.
Yeah.
And then we forget about, remember Premier. Premier's a British drum company, and they were always known for having slightly smaller diameters. Like you could put a 22 on there, but there would be a little bit more overlap.
Ah,
Wow.
Did you know that?
no.
Yeah.
But Premier, didn't Keith Moon play Premier?
Yes.
And then who else? I think maybe Rod Morgenstein with
Yes.
the Dixie Dregs.
Okay.
And Winger.
Yeah.
All right.
But you have Premier, and then all these different things like Tama. They need to make a comeback.
Yeah, they've got their marquee guys, your Kennys and your Simon Phillipses and your
Charlie
Stewarts.
Benante's, all
Yeah.
the metal guys. And even like Pearl back in the 80s. I remember just coming up, and Pearl was just the pinnacle. That was the icon. The best reason to play drums.
I never liked the hardware. I don't know.
I wasn't a fan either.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tube that's stabbed into the drum. Yeah.
But, it's you find your thing. But man, you should have some drums and cymbals, man. You need some drums and cymbals, John.
We got to get Ludwig on it, man.
Yeah.
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 You scream Ludwig, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
vintage,
Okay.
the psychedelic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
The finish. Nice. Yeah.
And the Vista lights.
I have a set of those.
Do you?
Which
Yeah.
ones?
Clear.
Just totally clear.
Yeah, I used to take them out with Raul. One of the things I loved with Raul was he loved vintage drums. So every tour we did, I would take a different kit.
Nice.
And for Christmas, I would take the Vista lights and we'd put lights in them.
Ah,
And he would bring like vintage Christmas lawn ornaments, like these trees from the 50s. They're worth a fortune now. And we'd have the stage full of this stuff.
wow.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I think it'd be cool to hear him sing Christmas music. You got to bring your sleigh bells, bing.
Oh, yeah.
The thing.
Yeah.
Now, we can't not talk about this amazing solo record. This has really inspired me. John McTighe III, It's About Time. Tell us about this awesome project, brother.
Man, this is a few years ago. I was playing somewhere, and I started thinking, like, man, why did I get into this in the first place? And I just thought back when I was young, like, I liked playing drums. I liked getting together with other people when I was a kid. And it didn't matter if you were in a band or not. It's just you'd find somebody else in the neighborhood that played something, and you'd go over to their basement or whatever and jam. And you weren't even good enough to play cover tunes. You would just make up songs.
Yeah.
And you'd memorize them, and you'd do them all the time, and it was fun.
Yeah, man. That's going way back.
Right. And I had a conversation with Kenny Vaughn about that. And I said, man, I would like to do an album, and I would like to capture that on the record. Would you be into it? And he's like, yeah, man, that's a great idea. And so some time went by, and I was doing another gig with Kenny, and he approached me. He's like, dude, what about that idea you had to do this record? And what's going on with it? And I was like, oh man, I'm looking for a studio. I'm trying to find something on the east side that I can afford. And he's like, dude, Dave Rowe, I'll call him today. And Dave's bass player had a great studio out in Gallatin. And I'd played with Dave for years. And so Kenny called him, made the arrangements, and we started recording there. And most of the album is built off of duets. And it's between myself and another artist. And I always liked old school blues like Hound Dog Taylor, T-Bone, or T-Model Ford, where it's just like a guitar player that sang and a drummer.
Yeah.
And so I based the whole record off of duets, and I got different people that I played with over the years that I admired, that I thought had the right energy to go in and do this. And then some of it is completely arranged, string arrangements, where I'd play a drum pattern to a song that I wrote, like a piece that I would write. And one of the pieces on there, Billy Contreras played, he brought in 4 different fiddles and basically did a string quartet arrangement that I had completely written out to a drum part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one that seems like the biggest, if I was a record company suit with my cigar, Keeping Time with Tim Carroll.
Yeah.
I love his rock and roll, man.
Me too.
His version of rock and roll, it's just great.
Yeah.
That's a cool tune, man. The cool video.
Thanks.
Very, very cool. So how long did this take to do? It's not like you just went into the studio for a week and locked yourself. You just did it over slowly?
Yeah. Probably took like a year and a half doing bits and pieces here and there.
Yeah.
But
and you mentioned Dave Rowe, God rest his soul. This was right before he passed, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was kind of ironic to do this. We went out there to start recording, and Dave's a bass player. And it's like, hi, Dave, I'd like to come to your studio and do a record with no bass guitar. What do you think of me now? And he was totally cool. Yeah. I used some of the drums that he had, like the house drum kit that he had there, and I'd supplement it with some of my gear. But yeah, and he was when it was finished, he was kind of proud of it. He's like, man, this ended up really being a nice record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a publicist's dream because there's such an interesting story there.
Yeah.
Were you able to get some nice like reviews and good magazines and stuff?
I did. The Wall Street Journal
Holy
did a write-up on it.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm a drummer. I'm not even on a label.
That is great press.
It's kind of unheard of. Yeah.
Wow. So your publicist, she's good.
Karen Leipziger.
She opened some doors there.
She totally did.
That's great.
Yeah. And had a lot of other nice. The thing is like, because I'm not Springsteen or Elton John, they're not going to write anything bad about me if they don't like it. They're just not going to say anything. So for them to say anything at all, that's like a good thing. Yeah. And I think there were probably like 10 or 12 magazines that said something about it.
Very nice.
It's very cool. Yeah.
Dude, congratulations, man.
Thank you. Thanks, Rich.
And who knows, there might be some more down the line.
That is true. For sure. I've got one that's finished and it's going to be released the end of May.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. And I like how you did music videos for all the tracks.
Thanks.
I mean, very cool. Whoever that videographer was, I noticed it was the same videographer in all the videos. I
believe. Joshua Smith.
Yeah.
Put all that together.
Very cool.
Different footage that I had and some that he would get off the internet.
Like stock footage.
Yes, exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Jim.
Yeah.
I was thinking about going to the Fave 5.
The Fave 5. Man.
Yeah.
You want to do the like new questions like we did in the last one, or you want to stick to what you had?
Well, I'm going to stick to my old boring ones, and then you hit them with the new ones.
With the new ones, okay.
What's your favorite color?
Blue.
We are on a kick.
Why are we so surprised?
10 drummers in a row. But for a while, we were getting the weirdest things, you know.
Indigo.
Yeah, we were getting some strange stuff.
Oh, wow.
What's your favorite food or dish?
Pizza.
Ah.
You can't screw it up, right? Even the Red Baron is gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like the frozen pizza?
Bread, cheese,
sauce.
Sauce.
Yeah. Do you think they overcomplicate pizza sometimes?
Well, yeah,
Yes.
The meat lovers is like, that's gross. I don't want all
an
that.
amalgamation of meats. Amalgamation.
Yeah.
What is the what's your favorite? Like, what's your go-to for pizza?
In Nashville,
Yeah.
5 Points.
Yeah.
There's also another place, Roy's Tavern. It's a newer place. It's by the Inglewood Post Office, and they have killer square cut pizza.
Oh, no. Is it like Detroit style? Where it's like it's
Not super thick.
Yeah.
But it has air pockets and crispy crust, like flaky.
Yeah.
And my favorite there is the Tavern. It's like a sausage and gardenia. So it's a little spicy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's kind of like a pasty sound edge. It's
Yeah.
got pockets. It's got air pockets.
nice.
Or Sabians. Sabians have that too.
Sabian. No, the pasty sound edges, they had like the little,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
little,
I have a set of hats like that.
yeah. Those are cool. What is your favorite drink?
You talking alcohol or?
Oh, I mean, it's usually more fun, but yeah, anything.
I like matcha.
Oh yeah, like a matcha tea.
Yes.
Can you make that at your house? Like
Yeah.
boil water and you get the mix.
Yeah, and I use almond milk
Oh yeah.
and
I'm highly
froth
lactose
it up.
intolerant. That's I don't know. I say, do you do it for health reasons? The almond milk?
Yeah, it's just I think it's better than regular milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this is a tough one.
Uh-oh.
Favorite song of your lifetime or at the moment?
It's a John Lennon song. What's it called? I was just thinking of it the other day. I just saw Ringo Friday, so all I can...
Oh, did you go to the Ryman? Or did Grand Ole Opry?
Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
So right now I've got, with a little help from my friends in my mind.
Yeah.
But this is another song by John Lennon. In My Life.
Okay.
Yes.
Amazing.
Love that song.
And so what is it about it that resonates with you?
Just, I think the lyrics.
Yeah.
What he's saying.
Yes.
And the fact that he's passed away
Yeah.
makes a difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a lyricist? Do you like to write lyrics for a song?
I do, but I don't do a lot of that.
Yeah. I didn't know if you ever jumped into the deep end of the pool and co-write for, traditional lyric songs.
Do not do that, but on my next record, there's a song that I have written with lyrics, and I'm singing.
Oh, I was about to ask
It's
you.
my debut.
So, are you nervous about this, or because it's something?
No, it's something that I like to do, and I'm making records because I like to do this stuff.
Yeah.
If somebody else doesn't like it or doesn't sell 1 million copies like it should, it doesn't matter. It's fun for me, and I like making music, creating things. So I think it's cool to do something, to be able to do that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I feel very, again, blessed.
I'm very motivated because it's Jim. This has been on my to-do list. It's like I did 120 high definition videos as a part of a training course, for drummers, but I haven't done a solo record. I got to do a solo
you
record,
should.
man. I got to do it.
Yeah, that'd
You've
be
totally
cool.
inspired me. What's your favorite movie of the moment or of all time?
I don't know about all time.
It is a tough question, but I like how you're just facing it bravely, and you're just like, because a lot of people are like, "Oh man, you really caught me off guard." You're just like, "I got it. Give me a second."
Well, there's a movie with Anthony Hopkins, and I can't think of the
Thor.
name.
Thor.
No, but this is about the ninth train. It's kind of a dark thing. It was a story about a gentleman. I can't even think of his name right now, but he was helping children escape during the Second World War, and there was they had gotten away with 8 trains, and the 9th train didn't make it. And it's I saw this the last time I was flying to a Dawn gig, and it's like, wow, this is heartbreaking, but a beautiful movie.
Well, he's such a great actor.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And he's a composer.
Is he?
Anthony Hopkins has written symphonies.
I did not know
And
Oh, that.
He paints, and he paints.
You know what movie
Wow.
he came to prominence in?
What?
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
Little
remember
fava bean.
That's right.
Yeah. So, Jim, ask your new questions that you got going on.
Okay. What's the most useless talent you have?
Useless talent. I'm very good at growing vegetables. Maybe that's not useless.
That's useful.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
In your backyard, you got a little garden?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm really good at it. I guess that's not useless.
No.
I don't know about useless.
Tough question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would ask or answer with that.
Oh, so if you had to play in a tribute band,
If you had to play in a tribute band for the rest of your life, you couldn't do anything else. And you had to play the same songs over and over and over again until your dying day. What band would you be covering?
Rush.
Oh, wow.
Wow!
That was out of left field.
so you were a Rush kid.
Gosh.
I was.
Yeah.
I was.
So you went from the idea of a lot of drums. Now you and I play 4-piece drum sets.
Yes. A lot of that is because you have to carry it, or
Yes.
you used to.
Yeah.
Now all the clubs and the studios have their own kit.
Yeah.
So, but man, when I was younger, I would bring every drum I owned. I'd bring a glockenspiel.
Yeah.
And why did we do that?
Because we admired guys like Neil Peart. And,
Yeah.
I had a pearl red satin Neil Peart kit, even though I don't think he had ever used pearl at that point, but it was like from the 6-inch tom down to a 16.
Yeah.
One bass drum,
So you kind of had the Nico McBrain kind of thing going on.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Iron Maiden. But he's...
He just retired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done. I had a Pearl Export similar setup, but it was I didn't have a 6-inch drum. I had an 8, 2 10s, 12, 13, 16.
Wow.
It looked like a roller coaster. Going down. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I would bring it around, and I packed every single drum of that kit. I probably had like 9 cymbals on it
Wow.
into a Suzuki Samurai.
I think my favorite record of theirs was Signals.
Okay.
I like that. Subdivisions and all that.
Yep.
Boosh.
Oh, so much going on.
Great stuff in the press roll.
Yeah.
Great.
I like Power Windows.
Yeah.
That was a good album.
I forgot to ask you, who did you study with at Berklee? Who was the teacher back then?
Private lessons?
Yeah.
I started with Bill Kaufman first year, and then John Ramsey the rest of the way.
John Ramsey. Yeah.
John was the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
And
sure.
I love that you love Latin rhythms because it's like, who says that a good English Irishman can't play cha-chas, songos, sambas,
Yeah.
bossa novas?
Man, when I was at Berklee, I would come home and my parents were great dancers. They didn't play instruments, although my dad, when he was young, I guess he wanted to play drums, and his mom bought him pieces of kits.
Wow.
And he would try.
Yeah.
Nothing ever happened, but they were dancers. And I used to ask her, like, did you guys ever listen to Latin music? Because for some reason, I have this heartfelt thing for it. It's
Yeah.
like, it's very distinctive towards this kind of music. And she's like, no, we were ballroom dancers. And, your daddy likes a little bit of swing, but not even hardcore jazz. So I don't know where that came from, but it's there.
Yeah, my dad loved that Gene Krupa.
Yeah.
And then my grandparents would go and they would dance at the Savoy Ballroom in New York City
Really?
to Gene Krupa, Glenn Miller, Tommy Dorsey, Chick Webb.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Connecticut.
Okay.
And then when I was 11, I moved to El Paso, Texas. And so, I played in cumbia bands and, kind of kicked around, got my education in Texas. And I moved here in 1997.
Yeah.
Crazy.
What was your nickname? You played with the guy who called you certain.
Oh, yeah.
Thunder.
Thunder.
That's right.
Yeah, he was a Puerto Rican conguero, timbali guy. And he said, I solo, you play time. And I was like, I was like 19 years old. It was the summer between my freshman and sophomore year of college. And I just wanted to get some real world experience. And man, did I get it. It was like, he's like, stay out of the way. Too complicated. Simple. Play time. I was like,
Wow.
it was good.
Yeah.
It was good for me. It
Yeah.
really was.
He didn't break the cycle.
Huh?
He didn't break the cycle.
I had had a great time, man. Is anything else you want to discuss in a public forum that'll be captured for all time?
No pressure.
Forever.
You want to say anything to your ex-girlfriends or anything out there? No,
No, I certainly do not.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
Kids that you may or may not have. You know.
yeah.
No, I don't think I have any unknown children.
Yeah.
I don't have any children. Do you?
No, I've been
Okay.
so busy doing this thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Takes time to do this.
I always pull out.
Okay.
Jim, mark that. We got to get rid of that. But no, this thing is all encompassing. It's
Yes.
hard.
You know, it's not that I've avoided that. It just hasn't happened.
Yeah.
You know,
Never say never.
Yeah, man.
it's never too late.
It is never too late. But I'm at a chapter in my life that I don't think I would want to chase a kid around a house. I want to slow down if I can.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Just a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Smell the roses.
Be comfortable.
I get
Yeah.
so much joy with my cup of coffee in the morning. I just look forward to it so much. The smell, the aroma, the ritual. That is my time. Love it.
I totally understand.
I
For
love
sure.
it.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Jim wakes up to a house of just screaming energy people.
No, we're it's pretty chill. It's just, got to get off to work.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Well, you know how they say, try to, ground yourself. Put your feet on grass or in the dirt. Try to meditate a little bit. Exercise every day. Read a couple of pages of book a couple of pages of a book. Just for your mental health.
Right.
So, like, if I can in the morning, and I don't have to go running out to get drum sounds at 9 a.m, I'm gonna have the coffee and just a couple of pages of a book.
Yeah.
You know?
Nice. Yeah.
And I'm watching adult cartoons right now. I highly recommend Primal on
I was about to say, you probably shouldn't say that publicly.
HBO Max.
Yeah.
Adult cartoons.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that like Adult Swim?
Adult Swim.
Yeah.
It's totally an
Adult
Adult
humor.
Swim cartoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's weird.
Jim, thank you as always for
You're welcome.
for your natural inquisitiveness.
And big vocabulary.
Yeah, you hit me with 2 big words today, buddy.
Now, what did I
Appreciate
use?
it. I forgot. I don't forget. But
Ambiguity?
he said regularly
Yeah, he did.
several times, and that's a tough word for him.
That's a bane of my existence, that word.
Oh, okay.
John McTighe III.com.
Yes.
Everybody check that out. And then do you do the Facebook, Instagram thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're probably friends.
We are.
Yeah. See?
Yes.
It's
There
like,
you go.
these 5,000 people that follow you around for the rest of your life. It's pretty amazing. It really is. But hey, thanks for doing this, man.
Thanks for having me.
I'm really glad we
Yeah.
got to chat. And I think that the record is fantastic. And congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
And bring those things back.
Good to meet you.
it. It's a pleasure, Jim. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Jim. Hey, to all the listeners, we really appreciate you guys and gals. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review. It helps people find the show. And I mean it. Please take the time to leave us a nice 5-star review. It really does help. We'll see you next time. See you, folks.
This has been The Rich Redmond Show. Subscribe, rate, and follow along at richredmond.com/podcasts.